everyone, Shadow Gamer here, and welcome to the first episode in this WWE Attitude Era roster in our 2K16 Universe mode. Now, I will say at the beginning of this video, right away, there's no Universe mode footage in this video. This is just going to be a championship tournament to crown our first WWE champion moving into that mode, which should be uploaded at some point next week. So let's have a quick look at the brackets we've got set for you this evening. We're going to start things off with The Rock taking on Paul White, of course, aka The Big Show. We're going to have Batista taking on Triple H, The Undertaker versus Mankind, and Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels. So without further ado, let's get straight into our opening match of the evening. And as I said, our first match is going to be The Rock taking on Paul White, aka The Big Show. And you know what? I've used the wrong Rock as well, haven't I? Well, we've started now. Oh well. We'll use the correct Rock for the Universe mode, I promise you that, but it looks like for this evening anyway, we're going to have the more current, up-to-date version of The Rock. As we are underway here, Big Show. Big Show, of course, Paul White at this point in time made his debut, I believe. Yeah, I believe the reason he's on this game is because he made his debut in a cage match against Vince McMahon, as obviously part of the Stone Cold Showcase. But it's nice to have him on here as a separate character. I know a lot of people are not very happy about getting multiple Big Shows, but it does mean we can have one in our current day roster and one down here in the Attitude Era roster as well. And of course we've got The Rock. And one thing I forgot to do in this episode is something I've sort of done a few times now recently with these tournaments. As this video begins, basically, why don't you nip down to the comment section below just quickly and put in a quick comment on who you think is going to win this tournament. At the end, obviously, we'll see who has managed to get it correct. I'm going to go for... let's see. I'm going to go for Stone Cold Steve Austin. Basically because the game is based around him. I'm just thinking he might be someone a bit stronger. Basically, though, because I picked Stone Cold Steve Austin, chances are he's going to lose. I've done probably 10 or 11 of these competitions now, and I've only got one correct so far. And I could not believe some of them have not gone my way. I really can't. There's Rock taking down The Big Show, Paul White here, and Rock dominating this match so far. And as I say that, Big Show back up with the big shoulder block, now turning Rock over into the single leg Boston Crab. Rock putting his way towards the ropes, and Big Show breaks it eventually. Big atomic drop there by the Big Show. And Big Show just continuing to assault the back of the Rock. Now remember, as in all my competitions, damage retention is switched on, so essentially you want to try and get through these matches as quickly as possible, as the Rock hits a rock bottom, and he might be getting through this one very quick. No, the Big Show, Paul White kicks out. Yes, I'm just saying you want to get through these matches as quickly as possible, as unscathed as possible, because then you'll take a lot more energy into the next round and possibly a huge advantage over your potential opponents. Of course, the winner of this match will take on the winner of Triple H and Batista. I think this is probably one of the most star-studded competitions we've had so far. I think the Retro Roster Championship was pretty strong as well, but this one, for me, I think is a little bit stronger. I think it has more talent across the board. Now, I have said before in a few of my videos already as well that we are going to have two separate championships in the Attitude Era. We're going to have the WWE Championship, which is being fought for here. Then we're going to have the World Heavyweight Championship as well. That's going to be uploaded, hopefully, very close to this one. And that's going to have more of your Stings, Kevin Nash, Booker T, Goldberg. Also Bret Hart. I've got Jericho in there. John Bradshaw, Layfield, and Edge as well. That's my 8 I've got planned in for the World Heavyweight Championship. So again, it's just a way to try and use some more of the top tier guys on these rosters. Problem we had on 2K15 was that we had a lot of main event stars, but they had to take it in turns to get championship shots, of course. So because of that, I've just brought in an extra championship just so we can probably extend the amount of championship shots we get. And there's a huge chokeslam by Paul White, and could Rock be out very early here? 1, 2. No, the Rock kicks out. And I tell you what, this match does not look like it's hanging around at all. Rock has already caught Big Show with a rock bottom, and Big Show now with that huge chokeslam as well. It would not surprise me if this match is very, very quick to finish. Big DDT there by The Rock. Rolling Big Show over now, and there's just raking his foot across the face of the Big Show. Big Show now with the Russian leg sweep. And Rock catches Big Show now with that shoulder block, bringing Big Show back up to his feet as well. Rock sending Big Show off that far rope and launches him up into a rock bottom. I have no idea how that even works gravity-wise, but this could be all for The Rock. 2 and 3, and The Rock gets a quick and easy victory. He did get caught with a big choke slam by the Big Show, but The Rock is through to our semi-finals very quickly, and I think that's going to give him a huge advantage going forward. Of course, the winner of Triple H and Batista, I doubt they're going to go into this one with as little damage as this. And you see The Rock there reversing that potential move there by the Big Show into a rock bottom. Very great move there. That was only for a 2 count, of course, very early on. And you see this is the point where Big Show takes Rock down with that leg drop against the chest. It's a shame that the current day Big Show is just nowhere near the quality of this one from the early Attitude Era. And back in this day and age, you can actually use half decent moves. Big Show now is just this big, clambering, slow man who just has a knockout punch, and that's about it really. This Big Show had choke slams, he had all sorts of fantastic moves. Not going to say he's the best wrestler in the world, but he's a hell of a lot better than what he is the current day. There he was with that big choke slam again, only enough for a 2 count. And this is just a game showing that gravity is not everything. Rock just launching Big Show up into the air, then catching him into that rock bottom. And that was enough to knock off the Big Show. Rock is going on to our semi-final to face off the winner of our very next match. And The Rock has got a great chance here of becoming the very first WWE champion in our universe mode. Of course, it will be the correct Rock when we get there. I will be using the Attitude Era version as part of the Nation of Domination. This version of The Rock will be put on the what's the best way to put him? He'll be put on the Legends contract, and he'll be sitting in the background until we want to use him in our current day roster. And here is the second match in our tournament, and here this evening it's going to be Batista taking on Triple H, and luckily for me I've actually managed to use the correct Triple H this time. Well done to me, pats on the back all around. And this will be an interesting match, this one, because last year I had both these guys as part of Evolution. Now I'm going to have them separate. Batista's going to go solo. Triple H can be part of the DX this year. We've got our Billy Gunn, we've got our Road Dogg. X-Pac's already in the game, of course, and we've got Shawn Michaels as well. So that's a pretty good little formation we've got going on there. And with Batista going solo, it might make him a bit more interesting, really, because last year he was stuck in the Tag Team Championship realm. That's the best he really got. So I'm thinking this year maybe we can feud him with the Undertaker. Maybe we could bring back Brock Lesnar and feud him with Lesnar again, like we did in the last game. The Animal versus the Beast was always a bit fun. And also, it also allows us to maybe bring Batista back into the current day roster at some point. Maybe returning at Royal Rumble like he did a couple of years ago, but maybe this time not winning it and going on to WrestleMania sort of thing. But yeah, it's an interesting one. We could use that just to bring him back as a surprise entrant in the Rumble, make his big return to the current day roster. And that's something I'm really looking forward to doing, is the Rumble this year, because, like I say, I can have them few extra little special entrants for the current day roster and the Attitude Era as well. Of course, the Attitude Era, I'd have to use the guys from the Retro roster, and then current day roster can use both Attitude and Retro roster, and that'd be a very interesting thing to do. Like I say, guys like Batista could make a return. Guys like it could be a great way to bring back something like The Rock, or something along them sort of lines. Bring back Rock or Jericho for the few months living up to WrestleMania. Batista now has Triple H back up on his feet. And there's a power slam by Batista, rolling into the pin. 1. Oh, Batista bringing the head of Triple H up. He's not done with Triple H. He wants to continue the assault. And will he live to regret that decision? Batista now just twisting the head of Triple H. Hunter, though, making his way back up to his feet, and there's a big punch to the gut there by Triple H, who I'm going to try and use a bit more in the top end of WWF this year, or the Attitude Era roster, should I say. Last year we used him a bit, but not as much as we'd hoped. The problem is that I had Shawn Michaels as part of Evolution, and Shawn Michaels was the WWE Champion for quite a long period of time in the Attitude Era. So I really just tried to keep Triple H away from him because they were supposed to be friends in the game. Batista goes to the pin after that spear, and it's only a 2 count. So yeah, I try to keep them apart really, and this year, the best thing about this year is having the 2 championships means that if Shawn Michaels or Triple H is the current WWE Champion, for example, the other one is free to go after the World Heavyweight Championship. That's the best thing about it, so that's going to be a good one to look at really. Batista catching Triple H, launching him up into the air, brings him down into the spear. 1, 2, and 3, and Batista eliminates Triple H in the first round. And I'll tell you what, this tournament's going a hell of a lot quicker than normal. Batista versus The Rock is going to be our first semi-final. And what a dominant performance this has been by Batista. I was not expecting this at all. As you see him here, the power slam earlier on, in for the pin, but that was not enough to pick up. Just see, he brought Triple H back up, which was maybe not the wisest thing for him to do. But then again, it still worked out effective for him, I suppose. This was the first of the spears, I believe. There it is. Very short spear, not much of a run-up. Maybe why Triple H managed to kick out a 2 on the first one. And there you see Triple H trying to capitalise on a grounded Batista, but Batista saw him coming, launches him up into the air and catches him in that spear. See, a lot of the time these launch finishes mean nothing, but that one there, you're really going to get a lot more momentum and a lot more impact by launching that spear up into the air and then catching him with it. So I'm really happy with that. So Batista victorious here. He's going on to face The Rock later on this evening in that first semi-final. And like I said, whoever wins this championship is going to be an absolutely fantastic champion. And I just hope that the World Heavyweight Championship tournament can live up to this afterwards as well, because we're going to have 2 great champions going straight into our Attitude Era roster. And here is our third of the first round matches. It's going to be The Undertaker taking on Mankind. It's an interesting one, this, because this is actually a repeat of one of the very early Hell in a Cell matches, which I really want to try and recreate in this universe mode. It was an absolutely amazing match. It's the one where basically Mankind gets thrown off the top of the cell almost instantly, and still yet manages to continue the match. Let's see if Mankind has a little bit more luck here against The Undertaker. Of course, we've already seen The Rock and Batista go through into our semi-finals so far this evening. Who is going to join them and face off against the winner of our star-studded final first round match, which is going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels next. That's going to be an amazing match, but every single match on this card is going to be incredible. And I'd like to see Mankind or one of the faces of Foley as the champion at some point. At the moment, I've got Dude Love down in the retro roster, and I've got Mankind in the Attitude Era. Then I've got Cactus Jack sort of sat in the wings for now. I'm thinking I can use Cactus Jack maybe as somebody to come into the current day roster for a feud, maybe. But then again, also maybe as a replacement for Mankind. Maybe we could do a storyline where Mankind decides that he's struggling as Mankind and he needs a little bit of extra help, needs somebody a bit more ruthless than himself, and then we get the debut of Cactus Jack instead. That's a possibility, something that could happen, and I think that would be a decent way of doing it. I don't really want to have Mankind and Cactus Jack in the same roster because it just wouldn't make sense. We could use them as a tag team for a laugh, but yeah, like I say, it just wouldn't make sense. So to have Cactus Jack maybe just sit in the wings, and then we can switch him over for Mankind at some point. It'd be a great way of doing it, I think. And then of course we can use Cactus Jack in the current day roster. Maybe a feud against the likes of Dean Ambrose, which was something I thought they were trying to build up to a couple of years ago. But I think Mankind was told that he could never really wrestle again, so that sort of died a death, that one. But Yeah, something we can definitely look at doing. Same thing we could sort of do with the Undertaker as well at some point. Maybe he needs to re-harness the dark side and we start using the Retro Undertaker instead. Of course, Retro Taker at the moment is penciled in to wrestle and the Retro roster, of course, hence the name. But there's no reason if at some point we need to change him across, we could do that. Big stamp on the back of the arm there by the Undertaker. And of course The Rock and Batista have managed to get through their first rounds pretty quickly. So I'm pretty sure Undertaker and Mankind will be looking to do the same sort of thing. My money on this one would be on the Undertaker, I would imagine. Mankind is a very resilient little fella, but I don't know if he's going to have the ability here to knock off the Undertaker. But as we've seen in several videos before, stats and abilities don't mean anything on this game. But there is Taker there with a huge chokeslam. And maybe that will be enough to finish off the off Mankind very early. In for the pin. 1, 2. No, it's only a 2 count. Still not quite sure what we're going to do with Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. I have got him. I didn't really want to download him as such. It was more out of necessity because I needed to download D Malenko, and it wouldn't let me download D Malenko without downloading Arnold Schwarzenegger for some reason. Apparently there was some items on D Malenko that were only available as part of the Arnie downloadable content. So I got that. Not sure if I'll ever use them. They are on my game now. I might upload a random match just to see what they're like or something along them sort of lines. But apart from that, I'm not overly interested. Maybe we could use them as a manager for... Oh, it's Taker with a big dive. That's one of his OMG moments. Oh, what a great move. Great to see that, especially in a championship tournament like this. As I was talking absolute rubbish, Taker just digs me out with that huge move. Yeah, what's saying about Arnie? Maybe we could use him as a manager for Triple H in some sort of capacity. Maybe like they had the whole Austin with Mike Tyson at ringside sort of a situation. That's a possibility, something we can definitely look at doing. Let's Taker now. Has Mankind by the hair and slams him into that corner. Mankind with a big knee to the stomach though. And sending Taker all the way across into the ring steps. Mankind slides back into the ring and the referee's still counting. Is Taker able to get back up? It's up to a 7 now. And the referee allows Taker the extra second or two he needs to slide back into the ring. Taker now with a front headlock on Mankind, now twisting the arm. Is he looking for a little bit of... No, I thought he was going to go for a little bit of old school, but go for a different style there. Taker going up to the top rope once again. Taker's not necessarily known for his top rope moves, but this American Badass style Taker seems to love it. There was a big leg drop. See the fans absolutely love that one. Taker bringing Mankind back up to his feet now via his neck, and then continues to lift him up into that two-handed choke slam. Is he going to do it again? He does. Another big two-handed choke slam, and you see Taker now just dominating Mankind and now going in for an armbar, just wrenching the arm while pushing back at the body and the head. Just trying to pull the shoulder out of the socket. That's the words I'm looking for. Now, and this could be it. Taker again catches Mankind with the choke slam, and surely that is all she wrote for Mankind here this evening. 1, 2. No! I was saying earlier on the match about Mankind's resilience, and there it is showing us. Mankind manages to kick out. That's stunned me, that has. Taker with a big right hand. And Undertaker must be thinking now, what's it going to take for him to keep Mankind down? He's hit him with 2 choke slams already, a big dive over the top rope, a couple of double arm choke slams as well. He's really hit Mankind with a hell of a lot of aggressive moves. Taker launching Mankind over the top of his shoulders now into the elbow drop. Taker brings Mankind back up to his feet. Spins him round and takes him up in that belly to back slam. Can he capitalise on that though? You see Taker struggling himself. That's one thing Taker's going to have to look out for. Even though he's not been hit by any big impactful moves, his stamina is going to take a hit in this one. And talking about taking a hit, he takes Mankind up. Last ride, there it is. Taker bringing Mankind away from the ropes, and surely now there's no way that Mankind's resilience will get him through this. 1, 2, and 3, and there it is. The Undertaker's going on to our semi-finals to face the winner of our very next match. And like I said, he's not taken a lot of big impact moves here this evening, but it has taken a lot out of him stamina-wise. So I wonder if that's going to affect him at all. This is the very first of the choke slams very early on in the match. I've noticed that a lot tonight in the Attitude Era tournament. These guys seem to get their finisher maneuvers pretty early on. There he is with a pin. 1, 2, but that was only a 2 count, that very first one. Are we going to see it here? I think we do. There's the clothesline to the outside on Mankind. You see Taker lines him up. And there he is with a big dive. Great camera angle to see it straight over the referee's shoulder. Great way to see that dive. Here he is now just wrenching back at the arm of Mankind. Brings him back up to his feet. And this was the second chokeslam, I believe. There it is. The second of the chokeslams, but it still was not enough. He went in for the pin, but again, it was only enough for the 2 count. And at this point, he must be thinking to himself, what on earth do I need to do to keep Mankind down? And this is it. Giving Mankind his last ride. And Mankind is no longer for this competition. Taker with a pin for the 1, the 2, and the 3. Well done to The Undertaker. He's going on to the semi-finals here this evening. We'll see him once more. Will he be facing off against Stone Cold Steve Austin? Or will he be facing off against Shawn Michaels? We'll see that massive star-studded match next. As I underestimated the length of this celebration video. So I'll start talking again, just because you guys want to see Taker riding away on his bike into the sunset, I should imagine. Should Taker reach his way all the way to the final, of course we will be watching the entrances. That's something I'll be doing this year in the Universe mode. We'll not be running the entrances unless it's a championship match or a pay-per-view. It's just to try and speed up the recording, editing, uploading, and of course your watch time as well for the Universe mode episodes. And here is the final first round match here this evening. It's going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin taking on Shawn Michaels. Now, of course, I picked Stone Cold Steve Austin as my pick for this entire competition, so chances are he will get eliminated here by Shawn Michaels, because that's just how bad my picks have been so far in these competitions. And here we go. Now, Shawn Michaels is an interesting one. I'm going to have him work in both the Retro roster and the Attitude Era roster this year. Just to try and bolster the main event scene up in both. We've already seen him in the Retro roster championship tournaments already, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. If he does hold one championship, I might keep him back from the other brand, if that makes sense, because obviously the last thing we want to do is to see one guy hold the championship in both Attitude Era and Retro roster, so I'll just keep him away from the championship picture altogether if he wins one championship. Plus, I think the reason I want to have him in Retro roster, because obviously he was part of the... I'm sort of doing the Retro roster as anything up to about 96, 97-ish, maybe. That's why we've got Vader and we've got Sid Vicious and that sort of in there as well. The likes of... in the Attitude Era, it's probably going to be sort of... it's going to overlap slightly, I would imagine. So I'd probably say like 97 all the way through to about sort of mid-2000s, and then obviously we've got a current day roster. Anybody floating in between the mid-2000s and current day, we'll just have to address per case. Of course, we've got several Steve Austin, so it's not a problem with Austin. We can have a current day Austin. I've got a retro version of Austin as part of the Hollywood Blondes. Of course, the current day Austin we probably will use at some point as a feud. Again, just like The Rock I said earlier, he's going to be parked away in the Legends section of our Universe mode, and then he's going to be brought out, dusted off whenever we want him for a particular feud. Again, I said the same thing with Cactus Jack earlier. It'd be great to see Cactus Jack feuding with Dean Ambrose. It would also be great to see Dean Ambrose feuding with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know about you, but I see Ambrose as more of a current day Austin, just because he's a lot more aggressive and he just has that anti-authority sort of style about him as well. So that'd be a great one to see as well. At the moment, it's looking like everyone's going against Dean Ambrose, though, doesn't it? I'm thinking we could probably use The Rock to maybe come back and help out Roman Reigns at some point. Of course, Roman Reigns and The Rock are cousins, so that could be an interesting situation. Maybe Reigns is desperate for a tag team partner, and out comes his cousin The Rock to join him, and that sort of thing. There's sort of rumours that sort of things happening already in the past. People have always said about Reigns. I think it was when it was Reigns and Ambrose versus the Wyatt family. Reigns and Ambrose needed a partner for the pay-per-view. They brought in Chris Jericho, which for me was not so much an anti-climax, but there was no point to it. They lost the match. Jericho did this whole thing at the end where he sort of turned on his two teammates. Then Jericho disappeared. There was no follow-up to it. So the whole thing to me just made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Great reversal there by Shawn Michaels, reversing the DDT into a Northern Lights suplex. So that's definitely something we could do, and of course bringing Shawn Michaels in for a feud at some point would be a great idea as well. Maybe the likes of Daniel Bryan would be great to feud against Shawn Michaels, or I'm trying to think, there's anyone else that would be pretty good against Shawn Michaels. Not quite sure there is off the top of my head. Of course, if you guys have any ideas for people in the current day roster that these legends could feud with, please let me know in the comment section below. Along with any ideas for anything, because I will try and use whatever I can from you guys. Of course, I do the random matches, so if you have any ideas for random matches you'd like to see, please let me know. And of course, if you have any suggestions for anything, I will be doing the showcase mode and the career mode at some point as well. As Shawn Michaels locking in a sharpshooter dead centre of the ring. And if you remember, I think there was a match between Austin and Bret Hart where Austin was locked into the sharpshooter for almost 10 minutes, I think, something stupid like that. I think he eventually ended up losing that match by knockout, passing out through the amount of pain. So maybe Shawn Michaels going for the same sort of thing there. Big knee to the middle of the back of Austin. Now Michaels leaving the ring. Oh, Michaels taking the top off the announce table. Still not seeing anybody this year put someone through the announce table. Maybe this could be the first time. Of course, it does require an OMG moment this year. It's not as simple as just bringing someone up to it. And Michaels here looks like he may have that OMG moment. Oh no, Austin fighting Michaels away. Oh no, Austin sending Michaels against that table. Now Austin looks like he's going to go for it instead. Austin up onto the announce table with Michaels. Stunner through the announce table. Austin hits a Stone Cold Stunner on Shawn Michaels through the announce table. I think he should have left him down there and let the referee count him out, but Austin brought Michaels back up to his feet. Michaels looks absolutely dead on his feet there. Referee's still counting. He's up to an 8 count. And Michaels just slides in time. And Michaels catching Austin straight away with that neck breaker. And I'm thinking if Austin had just hit the stunner there on the announce table and left Michaels there straight away, then he might have got the count out victory. But now Michaels is picking up a head of steam here. There's the scoop slam. And Michaels again looking to lock in that sharpshooter submission hold. Remember, the winner of this match will have to go on to face the Undertaker later on this evening in the second of our semi-finals. Not going to be an easy match for either of these two guys, as you see Austin powering out of that sharpshooter. Big kicks there by Austin. Oh, but Michaels just launching Austin over that top rope. Austin hitting the ground hard. Michaels brings Austin back up to his feet. Sends him into the barricade, and a back elbow by Austin as well. Austin throwing Michaels straight into the ring steps, back up to his feet once again. And again, Austin straight into the ring steps with Michaels. Austin bringing Michaels back up to his feet once again. Now Austin slides back into the ring. Referee still counting. Austin again looking for a count-out victory. Michaels looks dead on his feet. Referee up to a 7 count, and Michaels slides back in. You got to think if this match goes much further, then Michaels is going to really struggle if he does get through to face off against the Undertaker. But it's not looking likely now. Austin with a stunner. Austin with a stunner on Shawn Michaels, and surely that's going to be enough to take Michaels out of the equation. 1, 2, and 3. Stone Cold Steve Austin goes on to face off against the Undertaker later on this evening. And it looks like one of my picks has finally made it through to the semi-final at least. How much further can he go? Of course, I've made him my pick on this because basically the game is based around him, so it just made perfect sense to do something along them sort of lines. Big knee to the face there by Austin. And one thing I did check, I didn't get a chance to keep an eye out for, and hopefully we'll see a replay of that announce table break. But where did the commentators go? Did they all run off to one side, or... I'll have to have a look at that. Hopefully we do get a replay of that one. That was the Fez press by Austin earlier on in the match. But of course that was not enough for a free count. This was the first attempt at the sharpshooter by Shawn Michaels as well. And one thing I mentioned in one of my other videos before is that apparently if you use JBL in the ring, and we will see this as part of our World Heavyweight Championship tournament, if you use JBL in the ring, he still stays on commentary, which should be a bit of a fun. It's you can be JBL, slide out and go and see JBL. You see the commentators are still there when the table has been broken, but I didn't see where they went when the table was being broken. So that's an interesting one. Something I can maybe have a look back into when I edit this video, because I'm a bit I'm not overly interested, but it's just be nice to see how they've done it. It's great to see now they see the with the table out of the way the commentators are acting and that sort of thing. It looks more like there's no, well, of course it looks like there's no table because the table's absolutely empty. There's no table there, but it just looks like they're sort of reacting to there not being a table there. Austin victorious then. He is going on to face the Undertaker in a second semi-final. But before we get into them, we'll have a quick look at the brackets. And as promised, here is a quick look at the brackets. We're going to see The Rock taking on Batista and the Undertaker versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And as I said, our first of the semi-finals will be The Rock versus Batista. And here we go. Both these guys will come through the first round mostly unscathed, really. The Rock picked up I say mostly unscathed. The Rock did get caught with a choke slam from Big Paul White, so there's a chance that The Rock may be bringing that sort of damage in with him. Batista, on the other hand, I think just sort of destroyed Triple H, really. He hit him with a big spear and then a big launched up spear as well. So maybe Batista's coming into this in a slightly better condition. But will that be transferred? Of course, The Rock, like I said, he defeated Paul White a lot quicker than Batista. Batista's match was slightly longer against Triple H, but I think he got through like less scathed, like I was saying. But it's not going to matter at this rate as Batista looking to hit The Rock with a high-impact super backdrop. Batista back up to his feet, rolling The Rock over, looking for the victory off that, and it's a very high possibility it could be the case. Oh, The Rock kicks out on the verge of 3. Batista with a big forearm, now sending The Rock into the corner. Big double axe handles across the back of The Rock. Now, of course, this is just the beginning of many championship tournaments we have for you in the Attitude Era. This is going to be the biggest one. I did promise a championship tournament for every championship, but I don't think we're going to be able to do the Attitude Women's Championship as yet. Until the downloadable content comes out, I think we'll just have that as a non-championship for now. As soon as we get the DLC and we get Trish Stratus and we get Lita, then we'll definitely start our Women's Championship down on Attitude Era. But for now, we will be having the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, Intercontinental Championship, European Championship, Cruiserweight Championship, Tag Team Championship, and Hardcore Championship. Run out of breath there with so many championships. So that's what we're uploading for the Attitude Era. That's for another 7 tournaments, I believe. So we're going to try and get them knocked up for you. I am not off tomorrow. I'm off all this week apart from tomorrow or today if you're watching this, because that is a Tuesday. As Batista again so close to the win. I'm on a training course, so I will not be able to upload many videos. I'm going to probably try and hold this one back and upload it tomorrow for you guys, so you don't have to wait too long. Also, Fallout 4 comes out tomorrow as well, so I'll hopefully be uploading 2 or 3 videos for that tomorrow night as well. So That's going to be a nice little addition to my channel. Something a little bit different. At the moment, I've just got WWE 2K15 and 2K16 on here, so just to vary it a little bit with Fallout 4 is going to be great, I think. If any of you guys are interested in Fallout 4, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, because that will be coming, well, today, because I'm uploading this video on Tuesday. So, yeah, today I'm going to say. But like I say, don't worry, I'll still be uploading 2K16 daily as well. I'll make sure there's a nice variation for everybody. Of course, I want to get all these championship tournaments done as soon as possible now, just so we can get into our normal weekly shows. I was going to try and get it all done by the end of this week. I was going to try and get one weekly show and the first pay-per-view done for every brand, as well as all the title tournaments, which I'm still thinking is a possibility, but I don't think I'm going to promise it anymore, because like I say, with tomorrow the way it is, Thursday, I'm going to be a little bit busy here and there, but I should be able to get quite a bit uploaded. I've got a weekend next weekend. I'm going to try and do as much as I possibly can for you, but I just can't promise now that I'm going to have all the weekly shows uploaded as well. Big punch to the side of the head there by Batista. Another big blow to the side of the head as well. And now big punches to the head of the Rock, and Batista just starting to dominate this a little bit now. But Rock back up on his feet and in for the pin. 2. It's only a 2 count. Batista down to a knee, gets back up to his feet now though. There's the snapmare. And just chin lock on the Rock just to slow the whole match down a little bit. And Batista really slowing the Rock down, and obviously with the Rock bleeding, the longer this match goes on, the more difficult it's going to be for him to pick up the victory here. So Batista probably knows that by slowing the match pace down and making it just go a little bit longer, then maybe he can hold the Rock into this one. The Rock over the reverse into the Russian leg sweep. Rock now pulling Batista into the middle of the ring and just slamming the arm into the mat. Now, of course, again, I don't think the Rock did hold the championship in 2K15 at all. I don't think any of these guys did. No, it was Shawn Michaels held the belt for a lot of the time. I think maybe the Rock held it to begin with, as Batista with a big spear. 1, 2, and 3. The Rock is out. Batista goes on to our final to face off against the winner of our next semi for the WWE Championship here in the Attitude Era roster. Like I was just saying, I think The Rock was the only person who was left in this tournament who held the 2K15 Championship. I think he held it for the very first month. He lost it to Kurt Angle on week number 2 of the Universe Most. Like I say, he held it for 2 weeks. Lost it to Kurt Angle. Then, of course, Kurt Angle lost it to Shawn Michaels in the Elimination Chamber at the very next pay-per-view. Then Michaels held it the whole rest of the way of the Universe Mode. So, like I say, again, we're going to have a brand new champion for 2K16. The way it's looking, Batista's looking very, very strong here. But, of course, he's also got to get through the winner of the American Badass, The Undertaker, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's not going to be easy for Batista at all. And can he do it? There's no reason why he can't do it. Judging by what's happened in some of these other tournaments, it doesn't seem to be dependent on the stats, because I think Undertaker and Austin may be higher rated than Batista, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Batista is going to be at a disadvantage based on the way these competitions have gone. And I'm not going to name any names because obviously I don't want to give out any spoilers at all. Because of course all of these championship tournaments have been fantastic, but of course if you want to watch the Universe Mode but you don't want to watch all these championship tournaments, I know it's a lot of extra footage to get through if you're not interested in that sort of thing. But what I will be doing is, before I upload the weekly shows, I will be uploading just a quick little 5-minute video just showing you who is on the roster for each brand, who is the champions for each brand, all the tag teams and that sort of thing. So you're at no disadvantage if these championship tournaments are not your sort of thing. Just keep tuned, and those championship, those little update videos should hopefully be uploaded by the end of the weekend, and obviously before all of our weekly shows. And here is the second of the semi-finals. It's the American Badass, The Undertaker, taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin. The winner of this, as we just saw, will go on to face Batista for the WWE Championship in our Attitude Era roster in our main event here this evening. And as much as I want Austin to win because I picked Austin at the beginning, I really want Undertaker to win because I just want to see his entrance with the motorbike here this evening. Of course, like I said earlier, I'm not going to run any of the entrances in the Universe mode in the normal weekly shows unless it's a championship match or a special match. Of course, when we get to a pay-per-view, we will run all the entrances, we'll run all the little cutscenes in the middle and everything like that, just to make it seem a lot more special than what the normal weekly shows do. But like I say, for weekly shows, it just it cuts down recording time for me, it cuts down the editing time and the uploading time, it also cuts down the viewing time for you, and I'm sure it gets a bit boring watching the entrances as well, especially with some that take so long. But of course, for pay-per-views, to make it feel and seem a bit more special, we will definitely be running all of the entrances. So Taker bringing Austin back up to a kneel position. Of course, Taker had a pretty easy first round match against Mankind. It did take him 2 chokeslams and a last ride to finish him off, though. So it wasn't exactly easy, let's just say that. But he didn't take a lot of damage, so I think the only problem he's going to have is that he probably wasted a lot of energy in that one. Austin, the same sort of thing really. I don't think Michaels caught him with anything big, but the match was just a bit longer than some of the others, so it probably just drained a bit of stamina out of him, a bit of energy. So these two guys will be hoping they can pick up a victory here as soon as possible, because they know that Batista is backstage rubbing his hands together, hoping this goes as long as possible so that he can face off against the weakest opponent, I suppose, really. Big show, a big sort of just a splash in the corner. That's what I'm looking for, splash in the corner. Taking over a head of steam, and there's a big boot, followed up by the leg drop. Undertaker now rolling Austin over. I thought he might have gone for the pin there, but decides against it, brings Austin back up to his feet, but Austin twisting the arm of Taker, trying to take some control, and there's the stunner in the corner. Austin with a stunner in the corner on American Badass Undertaker, but Taker's feet were underneath the ropes. Austin probably should have pulled him away. And this match continues onwards. Austin takes Taker up onto the corner. Brings him out, a stunner from the top rope. Taking out the big clothesline. Brings Austin back up to his feet. And what's Taker got in the locker here? There's a big... Oh, clever move there. I think Taker might have been going for the chokeslam, and Austin just caught the arm and took him down in what looked to be some sort of armbar style move, but it wasn't the submission that Austin was worried about. I think it was just the... I think Austin had bugged there a little bit. He was doing a bit of a side plank there for a second, but he's back up to his feet now. I just noticed there's a guy in the front row who's wearing a... he's wearing a HBK shirt, but where the ring ropes were in that situation, I was convinced it was a House of Hardcore shirt. It just looked like HOH, which it still does a little bit. Austin with a pin after that. Double fist drop, and it's not enough to finish off Taker. It was close, but it just was not enough. Taker with a big fist to the face. Austin with a punch to the stomach now. Russian leg sweep by Taker. Who is it going to be? Who is going to be able to knock the other one off here? Austin again with that elbow drop to the face of Taker. Austin now throwing Taker into that corner. And like I said, I think Batista must be backstage laughing his way now, because he got through The Rock and he got through Triple H a hell of a lot quicker than these two guys have been wrestling for now. He's definitely going to have the advantage here. Big stunner from the corner by Austin. In for the pin he goes. 1, 2, and that's it. Finally, Austin defeats The Undertaker, and he's going on to our final this evening. My choice is actually getting all the way to the final. I can't believe that, but let's see if he manages to knock off Batista. Judging by what's happened so far here this evening, I don't know, I just got a feeling that this is going to be Batista's night. I really do. You see some of the highlights. And it wasn't a big impact move that finished Taker off by Austin. It was, I think it was just a culmination of all the damage he'd taken throughout the night. There's a pin by Austin. Again, that was only a 2 count. And here he is, just he hit this a few times in the match. Just draping Taker over that top rope, and it's just a stunner from the corner. A very very interesting way of just sort of adapting that move and using your environment to your advantage. And that one was finally enough to finish off The Undertaker. So Austin is going on to face off against Batista in our very next match for the WWE Championship here in the Attitude Era roster. And here we go, as I just said, with our final here this evening for the WWE Championship. It's Batista versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. And as promised, because this is a championship match and an important match, we are going to see the entrances here. And here he is, the Animal. Batista is already defeated Triple H and The Rock here this evening. If that doesn't deserve you a championship alone, I don't know what does. But of course, he now needs to get through Stone Cold Steve Austin as well. Will he be able to do it here? It's a big ask to go through Triple H, The Rock and Stone Cold in all one evening. Of course, 3 of the biggest legends of the Attitude Era. But Batista's very, very close to doing that. Of course, it's not been an easy night for Austin either. He's defeated Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker already. So there's a very, very good chance that he could be rewriting history here as well. To defeat all those 3 guys in one night is going to be an incredible sort of incredible achievement. I think whoever wins this is going to be really deserving of this championship. Batista just trying to play to the audience now. Probably trying to waste a bit of time, because he knows the more time he wastes, the more energy he can sort of recoup before this match starts. As we go back to the 3 worst commentators in history, as Batista awaits the entrance, and here he is, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm not sure whether I might need to use a different Stone Cold Steve Austin when I do the universe mode, only because it seems to be that this one is a very heel-based one. So I'm thinking I might need to use one of the others. There are 3 different Steve Austins on the game, so I might have to just use one of the other ones. One that's a bit more face-orientated, one that has the entrance and the the celebration that we would expect from Austin. As he makes his way into the ring. And of course, as he does, Batista drops out. And there is Austin. And as you can see, just by what I was saying there, he's very much a heel-based Austin by the looks of it. And this is what it's all for. The World Wrestling Entertainment Championship. Oh no, I thought I was hoping we'd get a picture of the belt there, but we don't. There is the belt though they're fighting for. And who will be the man to hold it at the end of this competition? Will it be Batista? Will it be Stone Cold Steve Austin? We're about to find out. Batista instantly taking the early advantage, using his power. Locking in a chin lock here on Austin, but Austin looking to try and fight out. He's not having much luck so far. As Batista still has Austin locked down, but Austin finally catches a hold of the head of Batista, then drops him in that jawbreaker. Austin now throwing Batista into the corner. Now, Austin just dropping Batista snake eyes across that top rope. Austin brings Batista back up to his feet, and now looking like he was going to go for some sort of gut wrench there, but it wasn't enough. Batista manages to fight him out. Batista now stamping on the back of the arm of Austin. I've just realised my heater's on and I've just burnt my leg on it. That's very painful. Austin throwing Batista over that top rope. Batista holds on though. But Austin knocks him straight over the top, and that again just makes me very excited to be able to finally do Royal Rumble this year. We're definitely going to get there this year, I promise you that. We didn't get there at all last year. We sort of stopped in month number 5 or 6, I think, this year. But then again, I didn't start recording until I didn't start recording the game until about sort of February, so it wasn't a massive issue. But this year, hopefully, since I'm going to be recording this very early on, we're going to try and get the whole way through to WrestleMania at least. I don't know whether I might stop at WrestleMania. I'm not sure. It depends how much sort of views I'm getting by the time it gets around to WrestleMania. If we're still getting quite a lot of views and it's still worth it, we'll continue on. If not, I might use the few months in between WrestleMania and obviously the release of 2K16 to maybe do a couple of other little bits and bobs. But like I say, it's all down to how it is at the time. As there's a big spear by Batista, slid back into the ring and caught Austin with a spear straight away. 2. And that is it. We have our champion crowned. It's going to be Batista. Interesting that. It's not one that I think a lot of you would have guessed at the beginning. Then again, I'm not sure. You may have done. There's a lot of high impact moves in this one. You see Batista slides back into the ring, and as he slides into the ring, he catches Austin straight away with that spear. We've seen him use that spear to good effect already several times this evening, and he used it to good effect here once again. Batista is your victor. You see him very happy there, and he's even more happy now he has hold of that WWE Championship belt. Batista is the man. He is going in to our Universe mode, the WWE Champion. Of course, there's still several champions left to crown. And we will find out who those champions will be in the next few videos. But anyway, here is a quick, brief look at the final brackets. We saw Batista defeat Triple H, The Rock, and then Stone Cold Steve Austin to become your first WWE Champion here in our Attitude Era roster. Now, this is the end of the video. Be sure to hit the like button for this video if you have enjoyed it. And of course, if you're happy with Batista being the champion as well. If you're not already, then be sure to subscribe because I will be uploading daily 2K16 footage for a very, very long time, well into next year. And like I said, probably past WrestleMania, depending on how many views we're still getting on these videos. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.